Good times, everybody. Welcome back to ZSR for some more Ocarina of Time Randomizer action. This is the first match of our brackets. I got Ink and Nastriel here to talk. Carliana and I are going to track. I'm Tomotak, your restreamer. I'm going to hand it off to the commentators.
Thank you so much, and welcome, chat. Very excited here for the, I believe, first match of Season 9.
Yes.
Ink, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm really looking forward to seeing how this match goes. As you said, it is the first match of Season 9, and it's going to be an exciting one, I feel.
Agreed. Both these runners, absolutely fantastic. Don't let Oak fool you. Being barely sneaking into top 32 can definitely take this.
Yeah, I would still, say, well, Mario, the favorite. He's had a good 2025, winning SGL both online and in person, I believe. So he's definitely in form, but we'll see if Oak can pull out the win here despite that. I believe we will be moving over to the race soon.
Indeed. Fingers crossed, at least.
Alright.
Sorry, go ahead.
So as we move over to the start screen, we got a minuet start with Kakiri Emerald as the runners enter the password, and looks like our starting item is a bottle.
Always slightly concerning, because all it really puts into Logic Skulls, and we're off. And immediate Lon Lon Ranch start. So steal 10 rupees from Talon, pay it back to him, and then go get a song. Fantastic area to start, in my opinion.
Yep, definitely a great starting spot, and you can even minuet out and go grab that song once you're in the silo as well. So you have all the best child starting tools here, really.
Indeed. Now we just need Prelude or Serenade, and convenience is optimized, at least in my opinion.
Yes, for the starting minute or so, it will be quite optimal. As the first check of the day is a bloopy.
Sounds pretty normal. I swear Talon enjoys scamming you for 5 rupees, not to mention your time.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, deciding to already go a little bit aggressive and skip the Lon Lon Ranch Tree Skull.
Indeed. Both get rewarded with Song of Storms as well. So much for the easy warp songs, but being able to hit those grottos, extra hints, and open up bottom of the well, very worthwhile still.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good song to have in your Child 1, and of course, like I mentioned earlier, we do have Minuet, so maybe Minuet gives us Prelude on or Serenade on the Child SM songs. We still got one song to see where we can get some more optimization going. But even without that, I believe it's a decent spawn, as you can walk to market from there. Nothing in the silo. Both players going to minuet out.
Got a very brief look at all of our dungeon layouts, and was that Bolero? Yes, Bolero off of the minuet check. So a warp song, but not so great as a child, unfortunately.
Yeah, and we got some hints going on. Our first hints of the day. Fortress 1 Major, and we will now see the Child SFM hints as well at the top of the maze.
Oh my goodness, I think I just saw that our iron boots are deep in shadow.
Yes, and a key. So Dins is going to be required to beat Shadow. if it is a medallion. Also, the other dual hint was another shadow hint for the spinning blade room, which was, I believe, 1 key.
Well, at least with path priority, hopefully we will have good information for our Shadow Temple, it being... I believe, if I saw that screenshot correctly, our Spirit Medallion, so it does have higher path priority for us, and therefore is less likely to get its hints stolen by other paths.
Yeah, and a couple more hints coming in now. Death Mountain Trail, Path to Evil's Bane, so it will be an item that leads to our light arrows. And we got a Zora's River Foolish.
No, my co-op partner definitely enjoys going straight up river. It's a terrible hint anytime you plan to.
Yep, no river today, unless we're on our way somewhere. But we get a Skull Mask hint dead and a very dead Mido's house as well. The Evil's Bane hint Tom will talk was Death Mountain Trail.
Indeed. At least we got the 50 rupees off of, I believe it was, the Storm's Grotto. That's just a nice consolation prize if you're not going to get Bomb Chews or a shield out of the brown chest you open. Lets you buy a few things, such as the Scrub in Lost Woods.
Yes. However, speaking of that, we already got some divergence from the two runners, with Oak opting to seemingly skip all of Woods, and Mario doing the Woods check, so... we'll see if that ends up being detrimental to Oak, as we get another bottle on the Kakiri sword chest. And Oak is indeed committing to the wood skip for now, so... we'll see if Memory Game ends up burning him here for the early game.
Safe for now.
Yeah, for now, no punishment for aggression.
But we'll see. I would guess that throughout the race, it will be weighing on Oak's mind. Was there anything there? Should I go back and check it? Say when I get Saria's song? It's always a question, especially if it turns into a bit of a long slog looking for an item or two that is all you have left.
Another piece of interesting routing here from Oak. Instead of choosing to go adult, he is going to go to Child Kakariko immediately and potentially go up Death Mountain Trail to see if he can get anything useful from that path.
Potentially, but I think our first order of business is opening up bottom of the well and going in there. If I saw it correctly, inside of the well we have Deku Tree, which, while a stone in this seed, certainly can have a bunch of useful items for you.
Ooh, very good density early game. So, yeah, this, see if this ends up paying out for Oak. There's a chance Mario follows him in there, or Mario could, of course, choose to go adult. It's definitely an interesting decision to make.
On the windmill. Can't grab it yet, but very good to know it's there. I will be interested, since Oak already skipped the Lon Lon Ranch Skulltula token, now that you're going into Deku Tree. That's another potential for an easy 3 Skulltulas. Do you commit to that? I don't think they checked 30, 40, or 50 that I saw.
No, Oak did not check skulls. And, you know, I wanted to comment, so far based on Oak's gameplay, I mean, we've only seen 7 minutes, so far. It seems like he's playing aggressive intentionally to try and maybe gain something off of his opponent, and sort of offset any potential differences in execution maybe he feels, or something like that. But already he's got a strength from Deku, so that's quite useful.
Very much so, and it looks like Deku is not done. We'll see here in a moment what else it's paying out. Okay, not nearly as good with that. Yes, 2 big chests and a t-shirt from one of them. Hopefully something better from the second one. No, it's just the room of shirts.
Yeah, that's a lot of t-shirts in Deku Tree. Fire is also a stone, so a bit less effective that Goron Tunic. Unless, of course, we have to go there for another item, or for the dreaded AD. But water is a medallion, so who knows, maybe it will be useful for Central Pillar. I think, though, both runners will be confident in doing Central Pillar very little. Oh, more hits.
Indeed,
Deku
more
Twin Roba. And Market Foolish.
Always nice to have the early Foolish market.
Ocarina of Time was Prelude as well, so it's not all dungeons required. And also, might struggle with quality of life with the lack of a good way to market. Another big chest in Deku, though, and it is Slingshot.
Indeed, honestly, great position if you want to go around the normal way. But something tells me neither of our runners will be doing that, instead enjoying B1 skip. And indeed, Oak so far just skipping skulls entirely, which makes sense after their decision for Lon Lon Ranch. It would have been interesting to change your mind just because you got into Deku so early.
Commenting on Mario, it looks like after Mario got that Deku Tree to Twin Roba hint, turned right around, and he's gonna follow Oak in there.
And makes sense, particularly because Spirit Medallion is our other higher priority dungeon, it being the Shadow Medallion. For Spirit Temple, you could have something as simple as, say, your first and only bomb bag available in there.
Yeah, for sure. Skullhouse hints. 30 is double defense. I didn't quite catch 40. 50 is dead. I believe 30 was another slingshot, if I saw that right. Might be wrong on that.
Indeed. So nothing on 30, 40, or 50. So far, good news for Oak. And we already have our first boss complete on Oak's side. 11 minutes in, 1 dungeon complete. Unfortunately, a stone.
And a silver scale on Goma.
So let's see. With the 40 skull count slingshot, I especially am dubious of the slingshot being path, though I don't think we have 40 in logic yet. The strength is the obvious choice for our spirit path, but we have strength, 2 t-shirts, slingshot, and silver scale.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. I mean, the strength is probably the path, right? It's very, very likely. But there is like a circumstance. Oh, it isn't. Maybe it isn't the strength. Maybe the other 2 strengths are just also equally out there, and it's one of the other items. So we won't know until, you know, we've cleared a bit more stuff. But for now, the safest guess is that it's the strength.
I'm always nervous seeing this in my runs, though. Anytime I have a path to Twin Rova, I'm always hoping that it's the Mirror Shield, because if it's not the Mirror Shield, I'm praying for another path that points me to it, or that the Mirror Shield is on the way somewhere.
Yeah, but maybe path priority will, you know, potentially help us with another Twin Rova hint if we are very lucky. I mean, we have a DC and Forest available as our medallions, so you know, that might mean that neither of those dungeons can be hinted because there's enough equally available things. I think dungeon entrance is also part of that. So DC's in spirits, it seems. The spirit entrance, that is. Which
Indeed.
has a couple ways that are equally accessible. And Forest Temple is in ice, so we might get a letter hint.
Potentially, although we do, because Jabu is vanilla and is also one of our medallions, that letter path could be stolen for our Jabu hint. Although, if that does happen, then the question becomes, where is our Rang?
Yeah, yeah. In general, since we have 6 medallions to do, as we didn't start with one, it's just going to mean more items we have to look for, right?
For sure, and as noted by chat, unfortunately, I think it was both of our runners did Child Shooting Gallery before finding out Market was foolish. Can't blame either of them, it's right on the way. Makes perfect sense, it's rare you get a Market foolish. Mr. Mario finishing up Deku Tree here shortly will be rewarded with his silver scale while we'll get our first look at Adult, probably with an immediate playing of Bolero and Minuet on Oakside. And sure enough, we have Bolero instantly. Could enter the dungeon entrance for Fire Temple. It leads to GTG, and GTG has been paying out so far, but when all you have is a single strength, that you can't do a whole lot there.
Yeah, for sure. As we get Saria's sung on the bridge.
And Song of Time off of Minuet check. Okay, that does open up a little bit more once we are able to get to the right-hand side of GTG at least, so certainly a dungeon to keep an eye on.
No, we have not seen the light arrow hint. Ice Cavern, the dungeon, is in Forest Temple. No other important item hints so far, no. Just the Fortress one. Now, we've seen a lot of songs so far. I guess it's gonna soon beg the question, where is our Zelda's Lullaby? And also, where's our Nocturne? Because we do need Nocturne to get to Spirit Temple. This seed.
Indeed, also makes Fire Arrow entry as a newly allowed trick this season kind of a mixed bag, because yes, you can get into Spirit Temple with Fire Arrow entry, but only as an adult. So you're quote-unquote orphaning 2 child checks at a minimum if you're doing that.
Very true, and that makes it quite a risk. Essentially, close to the same risk as if it was Vanilla Shadow, because Vanilla Shadow, I believe it's like 55-45 if key is required in the Vanilla Boss Key chest in Shadow, or Vanilla Boss Key room, excuse me. Whereas Spirit, it's about 50-50, right? So, assuming there's no like big gold trims in Child Spirit as well.
Indeed, and we have a new hint, Graveyard to Evil's Bane.
So speaking of path priority... Speaking of path priority, it's looking like it's already there, actually. Based on the entrances and all that. Yes, both runners played Slingshot Game and Markets. Unfortunately, before checking that in.
Sometimes I despise this windmill jump. It either works first time or it's just a pain.
Epona song from Windmill. Okay, so that does beg the question, where's Zelda's Lullaby?
Indeed. I'm always suspicious of Ice Cavern. As soon as you move it out of a ZL required location, I swear Mito tries to put it in there as much as possible.
Yeah, and since Ice Cavern is in Forest Temple, not that heavy a requirement to get there, we just need a hook shot. Light arrows are in Spirit Temple, so we have 2 paths to Evil's Bane that are pointing towards the Spirit Medallion dungeon.
Indeed, and I think Oak was listening to chat because we had Out of This World Burrito ask them to find a bow, and instantly they found a bow.
Yep, and with that Fortress 1, now we can get horseback archery. That's a bit out of the way, but could also be the Fortress chest there.
Indeed. I also saw Oak peek the TARDIS, the box chest, or box freestanding item in Graveyard. Unfortunately, I didn't see what it was. It wasn't a rupee at a minimum.
No, it was definitely something else. Couldn't quite. I couldn't get it either, or I couldn't tell rather either. Maybe we'll see it again on Mario's side.
And so far, kind of a slow start. Lots and lots of big chests, but not too much that specifically unlocks good check dense areas outside of the immediate Song of Storms. And that's a K-sword off of the Dampe race. Okay.
That gets us access into Water Temple, actually, so we do need that to beat the game.
And Water Temple of all dungeons is our forest met, so it does lock a song, but we need a few more items to be able to do much in there.
It would be quite funny if that song that it locks is Zelda's Lullaby, actually.
Indeed, it is possible.
A little bit unlikely, but possible, yeah.
Indeed.
Okay, let's see this graveyard crate.
I want to say it was a stick.
Yeah, that looks like a stick to me too. You know, I've seen some cases. I mean, maybe it's just me. I've seen cases of a stick in graveyard crate being mistaken for hammer. You know, the handle of the hammer, right? It looks a bit stick-like. So that's why you kind of also have to be a little bit wary of that.
Didn't see anything off of HBA. In the meantime, Oak grabbing a couple of checks that we already saw on Mr. Mario's side, just slight differences in their CAC and graveyard routing. Looks like we're headed up trail on Oak's side, see if we can find that Death Mountain Trail path, and our dungeon over there, unfortunately we can't do much as an adult. It's bottom of the well inside of Dodongo's.
Yes, we do have child access in theory with the strength. However, we cannot do Zelda's Lullaby or Bomb Lock checks in there, so bit of a risk to go there without either of them. Might see it later on, who knows, but I'm also interested to see, I presume Mario will go up trail as well, considering its path, and there's not that many good things to do. I believe there was a strength 2 up there.
Okay, I wasn't sure on it, so I'll trust you that it was a strength 2. In the meantime, probably seeing the Song of Storms check and peek this, we do have a big chest that is bomb locked. You could grab it as a child with your strength 1.
Yes, out of logic, but might do that on the way to bomb the well. So.
Indeed.
Nothing in the Storm's Grotto, except the other copy of Graveyard Evil's Bane. Oh, so we got a bow and a K-Sword in Graveyard so far, yes.
Yes.
Makes you think which one of those is it pointing to.
Indeed, normally I'd always say that it's the K-Sword on average, but leading to Water Temple of all things? The one saving grace is, so far we don't have a Morpha path, and therefore if there is something in Water Temple that is required for Twinrova, we won't be seeing a Morpha path. Most likely, at least if it requires all the same items that Morpha does.
Yeah, somebody in chat pointing out that it also could have been a second slingshot on top of DC. That's probably why Oak didn't go for it.
Okay, that makes sense. And honestly, it's what I thought I saw as well, but I figured before I say that and look like an idiot, I'd wait for Oak to prove me wrong and keep my silence.
Fair enough. We are gonna see Blink the Moron here, and it's Bomb Choose! Hello!
Indeed, first explosives, that's huge.
Well,
and a 10-pack, not bad.
Time to go right back up trail and get that big chest, am I right?
Probably. Some consideration. The efficiency in my brain always wants to go through Death Mountain Crater, go up, grab a few hints, grab a few more item checks, but when you don't have ZL, it feels a little wonky. Meanwhile, on Mr. Mario's side, you abusing the unintuitive hitboxes for arrows for bomb flowers, and shooting the bomb through the rock to get to Goron City through Lost Woods. And indeed, as Sponge noted, I don't believe that Oak opened the shortcut on the Goron City side. When you're on that side, it's just often very convenient, very fast to open it up, and then you don't have to deal with shooting it from the other side.
That was a Death Mountain Crater to Evil's Bane hint.
Most interesting.
We have three Evil's Bane hints, and I believe that's a bomb bag that Oak tried to get, but accidentally jump slashed off.
No, it's our hook shot.
Oh, okay. Well, time to go get the song, I guess, as well while you're here, right? Maybe Oak will actually go around.
Well, and I believe... Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say maybe Oak will go around and get the trail chest that you peeked earlier first, but...
Makes sense, and I think they already got the song from Death Mountain Crater because we had Bolero very early.
Good point, yes, I forgot about that.
But agreed with Rock, Chalk, and Sponge in chat. That hookshot does put Ice Cavern into logic, and very good chance that it does have RZL now that we do have logical access. Meanwhile, that chest you had pointed out, Ink.
Boomerang. Well, something in Jabu, I guess.
Indeed, Boomerang being in a path location? Okay. Specifically a path to a higher priority dungeon.
Chat pointing out that there's a good chance it's Vanilla Nocturne, and that gets us into Spirit, and that's why there's so many Evil's Bane paths. Very strong possibility of that now, especially, I'd say.
Indeed. It feels like, due to the three Evil's Bane paths, I'm sorry, I did say dungeon, higher priority path hint, but not for a dungeon. Because we have multiples to Evil's Banes, while there are still dungeons that have not been hinted, for those dungeons it gives the runners a whole bunch of information, because now they know the items required to beat that dungeon are also required for the higher priority paths.
Well, Oak seemed to have the same idea as you. Potential ZL and Ice, so he is beelining it. Light arrows were in Spirit Temple, so to get it to Spirit Temple we need Nocturne, and we have no idea where Nocturne is yet. We presume at this point, good chance it's in Vanilla, or rather, Burning Kakariko song.
And not to be outdone, Mr. Mario joining the ice trend certainly makes good sense. It's hard to avoid ice with a start like this. The earlier you get your songs, even if they aren't something that is hard required like ZL, the convenience that they afford you and the efficiency in routing is just so big.
Well, we had.
Sorry,
I also wanted to comment. We had a bottle Sphere Zero, so yeah, this is available extremely early. I mean, Minuet Sphere Zero, Bottle Sphere Zero. Not even Sphere. Well, if you want to call it Sphere Zero, we started with it literally. The only thing we needed to get here really was a hook shot, and now we have it. So yeah, this is very early, pretty much impossible to avoid, I'd say, for any runner who would play this seed.
Indeed. Also on Mr. Mario's side, mentioning it because Oak has so far avoided skulls, it's 3 nice and easy skulls, all right on the way.
Yeah, it will help him get to 10 or potentially 20 a lot quicker. Of course, I should comment. We don't know what 10 or 20 are. If it is something that is required, it could burn Oak quite a bit as he's not collecting skulls at all, even easier, seemingly easy ones. So, yeah, that'll be... Oak struggling a little bit with that jump.
Indeed. Ice Cavern, just always a fun place to be, it feels like. I feel like the jumps ever so slightly change themselves on you. That may just be my own imagination, probably is, but he does get it there, so fantastic. Not a jump I know myself.
Yeah, that particular jump, it can be a little bit finicky. There are, of course, some other jumps you could do. Like the one that Mario's doing here. Which is a favorite of mine.
Indeed. But very kind of Oak to let us catch up and effectively hold hands in this room. So I believe for the moment we have 4 of our path hints, so we're still looking for 1 more.
Yeah, and it's likely to be to Bongo, I believe.
I would certainly concur. Higher priority path with a lot of requirements.
Yeah, to my understanding, and correct me if I'm misunderstanding, I believe it's not quite guaranteed, but it's just extremely likely.
Indeed. To my knowledge, I'm trying to think of a way that it wouldn't be hard required, but yes, a big chest here in Ice Cavern while I try to think of that.
Mirror Shield!
Speaking of Mirror Shield being on the way...
And there's our Zelda's Lullaby as well. Well, at least we won't have a Mirror Shield casino, I suppose.
Indeed.
But, one item that we are missing that we definitely still need, that doesn't seem to potentially be hinted, is... Letter. So I suppose we'll see. It'll be an interesting question to see where's Letter now, right?
Agreed. You can at least rule out the places that it locks itself, but I would doubt our last path hint points to it, because as you said, our last path hint should be to Shadow. Shadow being in GTG. It's hard for me to imagine, with it being higher priority, that it isn't path. For that to be the case, one of the first hints for either Evil's Bane or Twinrova would have to steal the required hover boots and all other items be equally available. Also, we have the dual hint saying that Din's is hard required for Shadow Temple, so it should definitely be one of those two.
For sure. As we get Big Stabby in SFM.
Indeed, super convenient to find early.
Both runners going through Woods as adult now. Interesting to see where they decide to go after. In theory, you could beat DC now, out of logic, with a good old KZ skip, and use those bomb chews to make use of it along with that strength.
Indeed,
But-
only costs you 3 bomb chews, if memory serves, assuming you use strength where you can.
Yes, assuming you use strength where you can, just 3 bomb chews. So, not that big a cost. I mean, we don't know where logical explosives are, or have really any idea where they are. If they are somewhere ugly, it could be a bit annoying for later routing efficiencies. But for now, it seems like Oak has the idea of rush progression, and so does Mario, so we're gonna hold hands into Dodongo's Cavern momentarily. Did Mario not pick up the boomerang?
I don't believe so. I'm not sure they peeked the chest, because they went through Minuet and into Goron City via the shortcut. Okay, you did see the chest. Also, am I mistaken? I'm pretty sure that both runners are rushing progression, but it's not Dodongo's Cavern and Ice Cavern. I believe it's Forest.
Oh, yeah, yes, you're right. Pardon me. It is Forest Temple. So we don't even need to use bomb chews here. We have all the tools we need to just beat Forest.
Indeed. Although, oh, never mind. We do even have that. Yes, we have everything we need. For a second, I forgot we had a hook shot, and I was like, with bomb chews, there is a trick. You can even do it without the bomb chews to get to the island, but not a trick that everyone knows. Although with these runners, I would not put it past them whatsoever. Very convenient being able to unthaw King Zora on the way, coming straight from ice as well.
Both runners executing good old King Zora skip. And now we do not need Letter to move that man. Another copy of the Skull Mask hint. We saw the other copy in Lost Woods Bridge Scrub. So Oak actually, it'll be the first copy of that hint for Oak, but second for Mario. Although, considering how Oak's playing, I'm sure Skull Mask isn't really the first thing that's on his mind anyways.
Agreed. And we're getting our first look at Forest from Mr. Mario. Fairly linear dungeon. Might as well. It's progression. You know that you have to come here eventually. The only thing that we really know 100% about it is we're not going to find her in here. But that is perfectly fine, as Letter is not the top of our priority list at the moment.
There we go. Took him a little bit, but he got over KZ. And it's gonna do Fountain in a little bit of a different order. We'll go for Fairy first. So we'll see a new hint as well.
Indeed, and it is... Oh, I believe that was predicted. Nocturne
Yep.
is vanilla.
Yeah, so that makes sense for why we have 3 Evil's Bane Paths. They're pretty much just pointing to Nocturne. So that we can get to Spirit Temple, so... Yeah, I mean, that resolves quite a bit, honestly. Answers a lot of our questions.
For sure. Unfortunately, it does mean that if you're looking for a particular item, it can be a bit difficult to tell where it is from your path hints, since it could be pointing to anything for Spirit Completion itself, or any of the 3 dungeons leading to Nocturne.
Right. For example, Graveyard to Evil's Bane, we got the bow and the Kikiri sword to get what? Oh, wait. Hold on. We have a big chest here in Forest Island. And it is a second bow. Okay. Well, that is... We don't know if it's bow locked because we don't have a letter yet, but what I was alluding to is that because we have a Graveyard to Evil's Bane that has bow and Kikiri sword, yes, Kikiri's sword fulfills the path, but circumstantially speaking, bow could also be the path. So that makes it a little bit... makes the lines a bit blurry there, right? So...
Indeed, but
wonder...
it is... Sorry.
Oh, it makes you wonder how much will the runners prioritize bow lock checks, or do they just believe, you know, it's K-sword done, that's it, move on with your life, right?
For sure,
But yeah.
and the K-sword does satisfy the path without doubt, same as our hook shot out of Death Mountain Crater, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But just because your paths are satisfied does not mean that the location is barren, so or beyond that item, so you never know.
Right, right. In fact, the other thing to note, we haven't even seen all checks in Trail or Ant Crater as well, so it could still be another item in there. Thankfully, we actually do have a pretty easy way back, but again, it makes you wonder when will the runners go back, right?
Agreed. The one thing that might pull them back is in Death Mountain Crater you have GTG, and now that we have hookshot, bow, and explosives in the form of bomb chews along with the Song of Time, a lot of that is open to us. Ideally we find a Strength 2 in here, or somewhere, semi-soon, but that's about all we're missing to nearly full clear it.
You know what I just remembered as well? The Iron Boots. They're in Shadow, Din's locked. So
that is correct.
That actually makes things quite interesting. It seems like you're supposed to beat Shadow first, before you beat Water even. So, something to think about. And Spirit as well, right? So, be something interesting to think about as we look for our next items.
For sure. Also, because whatchamacallit, our Evil's Bane path is pointing to inside of Spirit Temple, you can also loop in the light arrows into that same logic chain.
Right.
We do have our magic, so we're looking to complete Shadow Temple. Shadow Temple is inside of GTG. We have opponents to get there. So we are just Dins and Hovers away, I believe. And technically logical explosives, although that won't stop our runners from using bomb chews.
Yeah, correct. Dins also gets us into Child Spirits, which I believe, well, we do need Nocturne, so I guess that's moot, but yeah.
But at least we won't be completing Shadow Temple and then having to worry about Fire Arrow entry for Spirit Temple. we will have our dins at some point this seed, for sure.
Fire entry should not come into play here, really.
Agreed. And indeed, the only strength that we have seen so far is out of Path Deku Tree. In the meantime, runners continuing through Forest Temple. I know it's one of many runners and watchers' favorites because it takes a certain amount of time and there's very little you can do about it, although each runner's individual tech and slight alterations with clearing the dungeon to make it more efficient is, at least in my opinion, fascinating.
To me, I thought I was the only one on that front. Actually, I actually do enjoy those little differences, especially when hover boots are in play and you have 3 key forests available. In this case, there's a bit less in play. There's no furrows, strats. There's nothing like that.
Indeed, my personal favorite. No. These runners haven't had time or warp songs and or spawns to set Scarecrow and have hover boots to do 3 key forest.
Yeah, there's a little bit less equipment to actually do interesting tech, but even with that, there's very little things you could do to save time. So, like for example, how you build a pose, how you do the puzzle room. Just little things like that.
And for anyone who does quote-unquote fall asleep inside of Forest Temple, at least we have 2 Bigoron swords. That always speeds it up at least a hair.
Yeah, I did some math on this. I believe it saves at least a minute. So, quite a bit, actually.
I mean, Personally, it saves me at least 3 minutes, but that might be because Stalfos give me a hard time.
Yeah, those Stalfos are quite annoying. They're one of the more unpredictable enemies in Uter. As any one-hit KO enjoyers would know. But yeah, this is, so... By preliminary quarters, this is essentially round 1 of the group stage. So, the groups are in 8, and it works a little bit weird in that regard, but I don't know, Nacer, you want to explain how so?
Indeed. The simple explanation is it works very similar to a GSL style format with double elimination. So if you have up to 3 matches to exit this first phase of the tournament. If you get 2 losses, you are eliminated. If you get 2 wins, you make it into the next phase of the tournament, the traditional bracket phase and best of 3 phase of the tournament. Normally, that style of tournament is done in groups of 4. For this tournament, to avoid rematches on your potential 3rd match, because with a group of 4, you can end up with 2 runners who already faced each other being 1-1 going against each other, it's made into groups of 8, so that you have an adjacent group of 4, and therefore have new opponents to face for that 1-1 match. Oh, and I apologize, Incoherent. I stand corrected. It was stolen from Star League. I have no idea on the validity of that, but I trust Incoherent, so it must be true.
Yeah, it's just popular. Like, it's just for some reason they call it GSL. You know, a lot of bracket makers and things like that call it GSL. We got a big chest, by the way, in the forest basement, and it is strength 2.
It was discussed, and that certainly does help, both with any potential dip into GTG, and we do need it at some point for Spirit Temple at a minimum. I also don't think either of our runners checked the Goron City maze. I could be wrong on that.
They both peeked it. They both peeked it.
Okay.
So I'll be honest, didn't I didn't see if there was anything on the left side. I believe there was nothing. But yeah, both runners definitely peeked it. I know Mario went up and peeked it, so... And Oak did as well, so probably not really relevant Strength 2 logic for that.
Indeed. Although there is still, we have a hook shot. Getting to the Strength 2 block in GTG is fully in logic at this point.
Yes, it is. And
Well,
considering the density, it's honestly not a bad shout. The only thing is, we do still need a letter to put this area in logic, so...
yes, and I definitely should have noted that, so thank you, Ink, because being out of logic currently doesn't make any future checks from items we get in here in logic.
Regardless, still, even without Strength 2, a lot of GTG is in play. So, maybe not a bad idea to go there regardless of the, Strength 2 block logic and whatnot. And likewise, we are still looking for Dins and upper boots as well.
Agreed. Also,
only caveat is... Oh, go ahead.
I had just noticed that we do have our two Foolishes, which are both overworld checks. Therefore, if my math is right, there's a 7 out of 8 chance that every dungeon in the game has at least one major item in it.
That is true, and that makes... That's actually very interesting. I mean, 7 out of 8 chance, you have quite a few dungeons that are very low density, like Fire has like 6 checks. I mean, okay, the Baron weights the Baron system weights the dungeons based on checks plus keys, but that's not so relevant here. Fire, for example, having only 6 checks that are not keys, despite taking for so long, makes you wonder. Will runners prioritize that, or maybe, when we get to Water Temple, will runners do more checks in water because of that? It's quite interesting to see how the runners might use that reverse information to, or rather, I guess, is it really reverse information? Kind of more like direct information to, potentially work around that, so...
Agreed, and honestly, I couldn't even tell you if it was direct or reverse. Honestly, Path Prio, I think I have a good handle on it, but if you ask me to tell you which direction it's going, I'm not sure I can in any given situation.
Well, Mario is finally out of Forest, so...
Indeed, and from Mario's perspective... not too much in the way of progression that I can see that they're able to do fully at the moment, so it's probably density is the play, although I don't think they did Zora's Fountain, so probably seeing them, I believe we are seeing them, clean up those checks while they're here.
Speaking of density, another location that is in logic, and fully in logic, as I might add, is Bomb of the Well. So that is also an alternative idea. The only thing is, we'll take an age change, and we don't have very many good ways back to market if we do age change. So perhaps GTG first in that respect, but yeah, that's another thing to note. Mario getting the Nocturne hint for the first time, and now knows what's up, really.
Indeed, and I think I saw Mario save as they equip the Bomb Chews. I'm curious if they're going to just quit out, save Scum that one Bomb Chew, and go Child straight to Bottom of the Well as you suggested.
Yeah, there is quite a bit to do as Child. I mean, Bottom of the Well, and there's, well, I guess... Actually, how much really is there as Child? There's, besides Bottom of the Well. I guess there's Child Goron City. We can get everything there out of logic. There's Valley Lake. Okay, Mario going to stay adult, and yep, going to GTG for the density, so...
Makes good sense, and you can still save that chew. Not knowing where explosives are, it's tough to just give up on chews when you're down to 6. Because all of a sudden you need to go into, chat mentioned fire, which while a stone 7 out of 8 times has at least one major item, all of a sudden you can use a good number of those chews, and you don't want to be running out.
Alright, well, here's our first look at GTG. First checks, no keys or items. So, already a strikeout on that. But, like you said, very high chance GTG has an item here. So, we'll see what it is. It could be even just a bottle, which would be unfortunate. Or it could be something we need, so...
Indeed, and I mean, if it is a bottle, currently that's a 50-50 that it's a bottle we need. Honestly, we have a boomerang. If I see
Yep.
Rudo's letter, I'm not too sad, to be honest.
Yeah, for sure.
Meanwhile, Oak following immediately, so adjacent again in GTG. I can't blame either runner. As much guff as I gave GTG during the qualifiers, it is a good play, lots of density, and definitely paid out in the qualifiers. Also, Mr. Mario, no surprise with the caliber of runner he is, but getting that backwalk and avoiding the boulder, not even getting hit by it, because you are slightly angled backwalking and go into the quote-unquote crevice as you pass by the boulder is beautiful.
Yep, it is not easy to do, I will tell you that much. But it is very optimal and some very solid execution there on Mario's side. So far, only 1 key in GTG out of 4 checks, so we'll now see 4 more checks with the Strength 2 block room. Of course, this is the one part of GTG that's out of logic.
It would be interesting if we got a letter in here and give a lot of information about our strengths, since that would mean that the strength we found was strength 3.
Yeah, for sure. And quite a few keys. Of course, we never took a look at the maze, so we don't know how many we may or may not want or need. Big chest. It's a bomb bag!
Well, if our strength were in logic, that would be a logical bomb bag, so it's so close.
Yeah, we just need a letter to put that in logic, but we don't have it, so... I mean, do you trust that maybe that's first bomb bag and that your letter's not bomb locked? I don't know about that. But...
Agree. But at least it means that you no longer have to save scum your explosives nearly as aggressively.
You're right, for sure. That will definitely bolster the explosives arsenal. As we get yet another key in GTG.
Indeed, and as chat noted, yes, unless the bomb bag won't be hard required, you can do anything in this seed with chews pretty much, because we know market is foolish and therefore chew bowling is dead. Both of our runners now with a bomb bag. And on Mr. Mario's side, the key's just not cooperating, running away for its dear life, so to speak. Honestly, the other nice thing, though, is now that you have a bomb bag, I believe we saw at least Mr. Mario, I wouldn't be surprised if it was both of our runners, still opening brown chests in GTG. Now that you have your bomb bag, it feels like you can save so much more time by not having to open those chests anymore.
Yeah, for sure. In fact, even one of those things... Oh, well, or choose. Well, as you were saying, I mean, we got a chew refill anyway, so... and it's a 20 pack at that, so...
Indeed,
Maybe
never
we didn't
gonna
even
turn
need the
it...
bomb bag. Yeah.
Yeah, never gonna turn it down though. Choose honestly my favorite item in the game. They're just so versatile.
So, gotta look at the GTG maze. Seems like there was absolutely nothing there in any part of the maze, so won't need the keys. And looks like that's it for GTG, just a bomb bag. Not a very big payout. Oh, well, excuse me, sorry, maybe I didn't see correctly. Maybe my eyes are to see me that maybe there is an item in here because Mario is going back for the maze.
Believe it was a small chest up here where he's looking. Yes. Looks like you remember correctly, but I know from my own times running in here, it's so easy to miss a big check that if you don't check it while you're here now, it's going to live in the back of your mind rent-free. So if you have any uncertainty, sometimes it's just worth it. Double check it while you're here. It costs you a little bit of time, but you don't have to worry about it from that point forward. It also could be that they were counting keys specifically. I'll be honest, I was not. And if you can know for sure that toilet is a key and therefore never have to come back here, that's just a weight off of your mind.
Yeah, that is true. Could be that it was counting keys for toilet. Interesting decision here from Mario. Originally was gonna go outside Temple of Time, probably to do field or something like that, but changes his mind, reversing and going back child. So this is going to be child 2 for Mario. Bottom of the well, a very likely candidate here on Mario's side, given how dense it is and it being fully in logic, I imagine.
I agree.
Diverge, because he is... Oh, never mind. Oak is also age-changing. Go ahead, Nisriel.
Indeed, just have to get out of the dungeon for that age change. But I believe also on Mr. Mario's side, we're going to be seeing Hyrule Castle here in a moment. It's just the only reason I can think of to leave from this exit. And indeed, and I like this play, to be honest. Although we already have 4 of our path hints, that last path hint could be huge, pointing to hovers or dins. And you get 2 very easy hints this way, and a third if you really want it.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure Mario's a Hyrule Castle 2 hint enjoyer, but I will say, though, that Oak is indeed staying adult, so not sure where he's going exactly. Looks like back to
Agreed.
But what for?
I don't think we've seen anything from the graveyard, so he will be getting a song.
Composer Grave, that's what it is, yeah. And also, Read at Grotto with it.
Because let's see, we do have Graveyard Path. It is quote-unquote fulfilled by the K-Sword, and a big chest here, so maybe paying out for him.
Furor's Wind. Well, that's interesting, because now you could actually go to Fortress and set Furor's Wind in Shadow if you really care that much about the Gerudo Fortress 1 important count. But how much you want to prioritize that? Debatable, right? I know a lot of runners don't prioritize important counts that much. Also, happy 1 hour.
Indeed. Do you want to get started with a few thank yous? Because we have so many wonderful people involved here.
Yeah, let me see if I remember all the commands. Thank you to everyone joining us tonight for the first round of the group stage. I am Ink, co-commentating with me is Nastriel. You are watching, of course, Oak and Mario facing off. Also, thank you to today's trackers for excuse me for the stutter. Thank you to today's trackers, Carliana and Tumultalk. Without them, we would have no idea what's going on. And also, be sure to give our runners Mario and Oak a follow. Also, thank you, Tumultalk, second time, for restreaming today and putting on the show.
Indeed, and thank you, chat, for being here, because let's be honest, we can talk ourselves silly here in commentary and track everything, but without chat, it would be empty. It's wonderful having everyone here, keeping us on our toes and enjoying the show, at least hopefully.
So, going back to the seed, we got Requiem from Graveyard, and that's going to give us yet another song from the DC entrance. But also, on top of that, oh, letter from Mario in Woods. Hello.
Indeed, and I believe there was also a hint that Gerudo Valley Hammer Chest was dead, as a sometimes hint. But that letter does put our strength 2 into Logic, which means our bomb bag is in Logic.
Yep. Welcome back to Logic, everyone. And Oak is going to go into Progression DC. Will be very interesting to see when he goes back to Woods for that potential letter.
Indeed. From our Requiem as well, can continue in Dodongo's Cavern, but we got Sun Song, so a convenient song, but only unlocks 1 check, albeit in a path location. And I believe that the top of the Arch in Colossus was just a piece of heart, so nothing there. And agreed. Mario being in the area and almost undoubtedly currently targeting bottom of the well inside of Dodongo's Cavern entrance should be headed for that boomerang and then have progression Jabu available to him anytime he goes to Zora's Domain, and with a scale that's not too difficult.
Yeah, scale and, well, not Serenade, but Minuet will get us there quite quick. Just take the shortcut to River and play ZL, and you're basically in Domain. Of course, Jabu being vanilla this seed, so.
And indeed, we are still missing Dins and Hovers. Also, we have a long shot, which is logically required, floating around somewhere. Never mind, not floating around somewhere.
Yep, there's our long shot in Dodongo's Cavern. So Mario cleaning up child-grown city checks, not getting anything, going for this hint, interesting enough. Really wants that last path hint, I imagine, because very high chance it's the bongo, so... but alas, no path hint, just plain check, dead hint.
But agreed, that last path hint should definitely be pointing to Hovers or Dins, and that's really all we're looking for. But on their way out onto Death Mountain Trail, should be getting that rang shortly, and I would imagine still going into bottom of the well. You could prioritize your progression, but you're right next to bottom of the well, and it's so many checks.
Yeah, it's a ridiculous amount of checks per minute. Regardless, I'm pretty sure that was Mario's plan, regardless of anything, unless he gets all his go mode items right away, right? So...
Agreed.
I can't see him not doing it here, yeah.
The only argument I could think of against it is if you are convinced somehow that the remainder of your items are on the way. With Ferroris and Magic, you could set it in here, but even if you subscribe to that line of thinking, personally going into Jabu, I want my Ferroris win free so that I can save a little bit of time in there.
Right, Oak now moving to the start of the King Dodongo boss fight. Just a long shot into Dodongo's Cavern, so well logical. And actually, now that I think about it, Oak could in theory beat Water out of Logic most likely, but with it not being guaranteed and you needing Dins regardless, probably not the biggest priority. Oh, there was a wallet in bottom of the well on Mario's side. Chooses not to even bother grabbing it.
Makes good sense. You already have enough explosives and both shirts. Not much use of a wallet, sadly, this seed. In the meantime, Dodongo's Cavern completion on Oak's side. We'll see if we have another item making Dodongo's Cavern more path, so to speak, in a moment. Alas, no. Well, I do have a memory from our last qual that hover boots do enjoy slight spoilers concerning qualifier 20, so plug your ears if you don't want spoilers on that hover boots are occasionally on horseback archery.
Yeah, and there's a Gerudo Fortress 1. Looks like Oak maybe has that idea. It wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't hate the, go to Fortress and set Fur's Wind there shout, to be honest.
Agreed.
You know there's a big chest in Fortress, and you know that, there's a chance Mario might not be going there, your opponent might not be going there that soon. So, not a bad play, in my opinion.
Very much
Looks
agreed.
like
Also, you get the first 2 checks in Shadow Temple, whatever they are, and because you specifically pulled the long shot out of Dodongo's Cavern, not only can you peek that Gerudo Fortress top chest in case it's a big chest, you can actually get to it even without Scarecrow Song.
Right. Also, coming out of Fortress, you get to get the 2 checks in Valley. Well, you can peek one of them. Of course, Oak doesn't have hovers right now, so can't do the trick to get over there. But does have long shot to get to the crate if it is something as well. And yeah, he gets 2 Sphere Zeros out of the way that are in a bit of a awkward location. So yeah, I do like this play from Oak.
Agreed. I was trying to see if there's...
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was going to go off on a tangent talking about Fire Temple and Water Temple not being the most optimal even if we find a scale on the way, so nothing important.
I was going to say something kind of related to that. Bottom of the Well, we were talking about how there's a 7/8 chance of every dungeon having a major item. Well, Bottom of the Well did have one, and it was just a wallet. So, unfortunately, Mario going to Well didn't pay out. Potential time save Oak can get if he somehow manages to avoid it, maybe with letter being the go mode or some weird situation like that. Just something
Agreed.
I did want to point out.
For sure. And our first look at Gerudo Fortress, there was nothing on the roof, so there is a major item on HBA specifically.
Yeah. We are also going to get our first look at 10 Skulls and Dampe Digging on Mario's side. Mario also going to get that Furor's Wind now in Re-Dead Grotto.
Indeed, probably hoping for something better, but honestly, still an amazing find regardless.
Yeah, for sure.
And no surprise on Oak's side summoning Epona, so we'll be seeing that one major item in Fortress shortly.
The other thing I should point out that we will be seeing on Mario's side is Royal Tomb Torches, I imagine, is, as he most likely will go for out logic, just choose on 10 Skulls. So Oak's still not punished for skipping Skulls here. Mario's still going to continue to push 20 though, hoping that maybe that pays out.
Indeed, and has those, as you mentioned, few graveyard checks to also potentially find something. Also, we'll be getting Requiem out of the Composer Grave, so certainly, while technically not required, will increase his efficiency in getting to Dodongo's Cavern many-fold. Dampe Grave Digging giving a bit of love. At least it was a full heart container.
Hammer for Oak off of HBA. Very interesting.
Indeed. Hoping that there's perhaps something... I was going to say on the Gerudo Valley Hammer Rocks, but I'm pretty sure we had a sometimes hint where that was dead, so maybe not. It does open up path Death Mountain Crater for one more check, although we know that the hookshot in there does satisfy the path for eventually getting us Nocturne via Water Temple completion.
Yeah. Another thing I should mention is that, we like we were talking about, Dungeon Foolish, lack of a Dungeon Foolish earlier. Well, we don't have Fire Temple open yet. Fire Temple is in the Water Temple entrance, so we need at least another scale for that to be open logically. Or Dins and Hovers for our Irons, but that would be redundant as we need Dins and Hovers to do everything else anyway, so Hammer wouldn't really be relevant for locking anything that we need at that point. But if we do get another scale, it will be quite interesting to see Fire in play now.
Agreed. And of note, that is in logic to enter the Water Temple entrance with Longshot and Gold Scale. That does not always hold true, but broadly speaking does. It is enabled as a trick, I believe, specifically in Season 9 settings. I could be wrong that it's actually even a trick, to be honest. I consider it a trick.
Yeah, it is always in logic, I believe.
Okay, good to know. Unfortunately, I have a bad habit on that front from Triforce Blitz, where for convenience of logic reading, it is specifically turned off. And no, to my knowledge, Tamaltak, we have not seen our last path hint, but we do have something on Hoverboot's chest.
Okay. Well, we did get a claim check dead hint. I believe both, no, sorry, only Mario has gotten that hint though, so, that's something to note. There is a chance that the lack of the hint might push Oak to doing, to finishing off Crater Loop though, with two regions within the Crater Loop being path locations, albeit fulfilled, like we said. But between that and, doing claim check for efficiency might be an idea as well. But for now, Oak's gonna just finish off Valley with the Bombchu Peak and probably drop down to check Waterfall.
Makes good sense. You also get the hint there.
Mario, on the other hand, going to... Oh, that's Hover Boots. Hello.
Well,
wait.
That's half of what we require. Thankfully, we do have that long shot. Otherwise, this would be terribly awkward. Although, did he reset the... Can you grab this?
No,
with
right?
a freestanding?
Can you?
I think he just realized.
Yeah. Oops. Regardless, though, very, very good pull from Oak. Very, very, very good pull. This is definitely what he wants. And, I wouldn't say it's bad news for Mario yet. Mario's, just doing progression. Maybe could even route in Valley after Jabu if he really wants through Lake. But we'll see. We'll see. For now, though, definitely good for Oak.
Indeed. Also, a side note, although not terribly important, there was another bomb bag scale locked in Lake that we saw just now on Mario's side, so not a path bomb bag in GTG.
I wonder, maybe Oak will just go into Shadow, keep going as far as he can, see if he can pull hovers, and then set for his wind if he... sorry, not hovers, excuse me, Dins. See if he can pull Dins, and then, yeah, maybe set for his wind in there. After all, it is pretty much the only progression that he has open.
Agreed. As you mentioned, they could do Water Temple and get a good ways, but you know you're not going to find Dins in there due to the Iron Boots. Okay.
There's Gold Scale. That puts Fire Temple, Stone Fire Temple in logic now.
So apparently the play is just always Valley Lake. That's what I'm learning, much to my chagrin.
Yeah, I mean, it had a bomb bag, it had hover boots, Gold Scale, like, jeez. Valley Lakers are eating good tonight.
Indeed.
Oh, Oak is playing Bolero here. Now, Bolero isn't the fastest way to get to a dungeon, so it looks like he's gonna clear out the rest of his path locations and turn in that clean check, not knowing that it's dead. And then we'll see what he does after. Maybe he goes back to Shadow.
Agreed. I do think that's the play, as you had mentioned. Just you lose very little time by completing it now, and if your Dins is on the way, you have to go through it anyways, so it's by far the most efficient, in my opinion, of the plays available.
So Oak is missing Dins to complete Shadow, but he can do most of Shadow. He can get up to the back room, essentially, which has a dual hint for it. In this case, it is a key to finish off Shadow and the Iron Boots. So while Oak can't beat Shadow, he can do most of it, yeah.
Indeed. And Oak going out of his way for additional hints here, I actually really like this because you're still expecting a bongo hint, and now it's a 50-50 almost, that your last hint will just point you straight to the Dins.
Hyrule Field is one major item. Well, you know what that is? That's the Ocarina of Time song. So,
Indeed.
essentially saying that Field is dead. Don't do any checks in Field. Well, be interesting maybe. You know, Oak and Mario have both been kind of going a little bit out of their way for path hints. I mean, they're doing some of the slightly more out of the way Gossip Stones. Maybe they will do it for hints, but you know, there's other options for that already. There's, you know, Back of Lake, for example, and whatnot.
Indeed. And yes, very much don't check Field, although it is very awkward with the item that I mentioned about you really want to check hints right now, and Field is great hint density, so our two best hint density that I'm aware of at this point are Field and Zora's River, and effectively both are foolish.
Yeah. Yeah, the only area that's, like, good for hint density, kind of, that isn't foolish is, what, like, Blake, that's it. So
that sounds about right, yeah.
And even then, those hints are pretty slow, like, they're kind of out of the way from the checks. Oak playing Minuet here. Okay, so potentially gonna go back and do Woods checks now.
Potentially. I'm honestly somewhat expecting them to just go ahead, open up Water Temple, and just say, I need to do Water Temple at some point. With it open, long shot, I can probably do it. Hopefully they have read into that with the Iron Boots being where they are. I think there are specifically 0 chances that Dins or anything leading to Dins is in Water Temple.
You know what could be in Water Temple, though? Well, actually, it still wouldn't be relevant because we have to beat Shadow, right? I was gonna say Fire Arrows, and we could do Fire Arrow entry, but like we said earlier, we need Dins regardless, so it wouldn't really get Oak anywhere progression-wise. But it looks like he is, yeah, just turning in K-Sword, and I don't know, we'll see if he plays Suns here to go back. Maybe go to Bomb the Well after.
Oh, the one thing I didn't think about, you do have 2 hints here by the Deku Tree, so that, you do have to open it up at some point, and grabbing these 2 hints, if one of them points to Dins, you just know where to go.
Yeah, this is a go for hints play. I like it. There's not many other locations that are good. That was not a 4th trail thing. Yeah, okay, that wouldn't make sense.
Indeed. If we have another if we have another Evil's Bane hint, I am very, very confused.
Game would be broken.
Very much so.
Just a song.
As usual. Yes, as usual, I swear, your sometime song hint very much enjoys being able to be checked after you get the song in question. It seems to happen in about 95% of seeds that I see.
Okay, Oak is going back for some woods checks. We'll see how much he does. Maybe...
And I had forgotten that Oak hadn't checked this yet, so from their mind they need letter and are rewarded with it. Am I crazy? For some reason I thought, no, it's on target in the woods.
Yeah. So he'll most likely get it after doing this scrum. Letter or Kyrie is target in the woods. Oak will get it momentarily. There's the second copy of Skull Mask, as we saw earlier.
Oh no. Oak, stay here. Okay. Sun Song to
speed
warp
up.
makes good sense. Had a bit of a heart attack when I saw the Ocarina come out, but makes very good sense.
And there's Oak's letter. Oh, he's gonna continue to skip Ocarina minigame though. I like it. Is this a Jabu play? Yep, Jabu play
so.
incoming.
And it makes good sense. It's a dungeon, it's your only progression. You know that there's a good chance there's a major item in there, and if it's Din's, I think you're in no mode.
There's a big chest on Jabu Stingers here. Fire arrows, okay.
So close to Din, so close.
Wrong fire source game.
Also, it does point to a little bit of fun. I believe we had blue fire arrows on the Zora's Domain lab dive, so 2 of our magical arrows over here in the Zora's Domain area.
Yes, Light Sword, they do need Dins. The back of Shadow has both Iron Boots and a small key, and Spirit Entrance is... Shadow Entrance leads to Spirit Temple, so that's also Child Spirit access, potentially. The irons are a little bit less relevant, though, because we can long shot the torch down and essentially do water as if we have gold scale, which, I mean, Oak does have gold scale. So, the irons aren't the most relevant thing, it's logically required, but, yeah, the main thing is the back of Shadow has a key, which we need, so...
Indeed. Oak continuing to play aggressive is not checking Zora's Domain.
Yeah, and he's not going to be punished for it, so... You know, this is still going to plan for Oak for sure. I don't blame Oak... Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say that while he's behind here in Shadow, in Jabu, so to speak, he has checked the start of Shadow, put Furores in there, and completed Dodongo's Cavern, all of which I don't believe Mr. Mario has done yet.
He also has the hovers from Valley that were unhinted so far, so...
Very true.
That's the other part. But what I was going to say is, you know, with all this aggression, I wonder... Is Oak doing this, you know, yeah, as Hyperpoint, I was going to say, you know, maybe Oak feels outmatched execution-wise or, you know, just in general, and feels like if he skips some checks, maybe he can make up for that. Hence why he's taking some risks and playing aggressively. I do like it from his point of view, you know, if you do feel outmatched, just go for it, right? So...
It's fair. There's also a philosophy that you just should play more aggressively depending on the items you get, because, like, currently, Oak has progression and still has that one last hint that practically it's 50-50 points to his no-mode item. So either of those holding true means getting random checks even on the way just doesn't make sense.
Yeah, definitely in Oak's position with having the hovers, that is another very good point. I wonder, you know, maybe if Oak is gonna just, you know, after Jabu, because Jabu's really bad to come back to, right? After Jabu, maybe just not even do checks. Go straight for hints and pray you get your bongo hints, that's Dins, and just send it, you know. But
Honestly, until you see
it's-
a Gerudo Valley to Bongo Path, I like it.
yeah, it is very risky though, because like you said, if it's Valley of Bongo or even Cacta Bongo for you know, Back of Shadow Key as well, for that magic, you know,
Hmm.
that could burn you, right? So do stuff to be a little bit careful here.
For sure. I don't think we can get an Epona's or long shot path, at least, or long shot or hook shot path, I should say, with the location of those 3 items and GTG entrance holding Shadow Temple.
Well, the hook shot was the Bane path, right? And the long shot we can't, yeah. We can't get the long shot path, because we have equal access. Unless it's, you know, Lab Dive or Block Behind Water. The specific item is like logically locked behind long shot, right? So
And other hook shot was in Dodongo's Cavern. So we had Dodongo's Cavern and Death Mountain Crater Wall.
yeah, the Crater Wall was hinted, and then the Dodongo's Cavern hint. The only way it would be hinted is if long shot, like shoot the sun, lock the check, or water boss key chest, lock the check, right? That locks your dins. I guess there's also a world, actually, the long shot locks Fire Temple too, so that's another thing.
Indeed. Honestly, because it specifically locks Fire Temple, that would decrease the odds of Dins being there. It certainly is still possible, but that would mean, therefore, as you noted, that Longshot is required to enter it, that the other hookshot could be path to Bongo.
Oh, Valley to Bongo in field.
That is
Mario's being
huge for
prepared
Mr.
now.
Mario, but very unfortunate for Oak.
Yeah. That is definitely the hint Mario wanted to see, and now he is just gonna turn around, go pick up those hovers.
Indeed. He'll lose a little bit of time here because he does not know Hyrule Field only has 1 major item, but in exchange for the hovers, take that every day.
Oh yeah, you take that any day of the week.
Okay, so now that we have all 5 of our path hints, the only thing that we can really tell off of that is that our Deku Tree path item does not lead to Dins. It is not required to be able... Oh no, never mind. Twin Rova is the same path priority, so you can't even say that. We have 5 hints to 5 higher path priority goals.
The one thing we can tell is that it's not pointing to Goron Tunic, though, because we did get a wallet in Bomb in the Well. There's at least that.
True.
So that's at least one item eliminated.
I believe we also saw a slingshot in there, and the second slingshot on top of Dodongo's Cavern. Not that that was a top contender, but with Letter being on target in the woods, was a possibility.
Yeah, for sure. So that leaves Scale, Strength, and Zora Tunic essentially being eligible to be the Deku Tree path. And like we said when we got it, most likely it's the Strength, right? But not guaranteed. So, yeah, especially with that Gold Scale now putting Fire Temple in Logic, and also being in a Bongo path location, makes you wonder, you know, is the real path actually the Gold Scale and it's not pointing to the hovers? That would be quite kind of gross. Although hovers does fulfill the path, it could be saying, no, the actual path item is Gold Scale, go to Fire. But we would not know that, right?
Agreed. Also,
Unless we got the spoiler
I would
box.
argue that the hints, to a very small degree, are pointing away from Fire Temple. It's very, very small, but just if Fire Temple is the path location, with our Iron's Boot location being in Deep Shadow, that would mean that so many more items are on the path. Both of our scales are on the path, our long shot, and therefore both of our hook shots are on the path, and potentially the hammer would be on the path. And potentially none of those were hinted path with the exception of the first hook shot. But definitely not impossible, just I'm now personally a bit dubious about Fire Temple having dins. And I think we saw a hint that the topmost chest in Fire Temple was either dead or a small key. I didn't quite catch it.
I believe it was dead, if I remember correctly. We saw the other copy. One was in Lake there, one was in Valley from Oak earlier.
Makes good sense. Also, Mr. Mario checking Lab Dive, as you mentioned, could have led straight to it. Alas, I think that's our 4th bomb shoe drop.
Yeah, well, we're not short on shoes today, that's for sure.
Indeed. And yes, our best guess at the moment is that the strength from Deku Tree is the path item, but it is currently a guess. Honestly, it could be our Zora tunic until we see another wallet, and depending on our key layout in Water Temple.
Yeah, because it locks Nocturne. It wouldn't be, can't lock Dins, because Dins locks Irons, but yeah, it could be Zora Tunic to Nocturne. That's the other option.
Indeed, but agreed, incoherent. It most likely is just Strength 2, at least until we find a Strength 3 that is not Strength 2 locked.
Oak playing Minuet here. This seems like a Child Grown City into Well play, from his point of view, which is gonna give Mario quite a bit of time to catch up, do Adult DC, get that progression done, maybe reverse and go to Shadow.
Agreed. Just a bit unfortunate that here on Restream we know that nothing really to be found in Bottom of the Well, although I suppose you do have that small amount of information from finding the wallet, as you mentioned, with the Goron tunic out of the path location. And yes, we had long shot in DC, and that was effectively it.
Yeah, Oak committing to the domain skip, but also committing to skipping Child Lake, which fortunately for him didn't have anything noteworthy, but it does not allow Oak to step Scarecrow, so there's something on Adult Lake that's gonna be pretty ugly for him.
Let's see, from Mr. Mario's side, currently doing progression makes good sense. After this, if you've read that Water Temple can't have anything, I'm wondering if there's anything from just the song reward you can get. I know we're missing Serenade. Are we missing any other songs that could be on Prelude Check? I don't think so.
No, it has to be Serenade? Yeah, because we know where Burning Cack and OoT hints are Nocturne and Prelude respectively, so that essentially completes our song information.
So currently, Mr. Mario is missing the hammer out of Shadow Temple, but he will be going there most likely when he's done with progression. Sorry?
It was on HBA, but yeah, it's a GF1. I imagine Mario might even do it before Shadow. I mean, just hoping it spins.
Indeed, my apologies. Remembering that claim check, ever so useful. out of the
Yeah.
Hover's Boots location.
Yeah. Both majors, you know. So.
Equally useful, most certainly.
Oh, Mario? Okay, we're good. He had shoes anyways as a backup.
Indeed, but still would have been annoying to have to set that up. In the meantime, Oak going into bottom of the well will unfortunately only find that wallet, but makes perfectly good sense. It's just so many checks. It's so likely to have either your dins or something that unlocks more checks. Although, how much more do we have that we can get? I suppose a lens, but we know Market is foolish. Outside of that, we're pretty much completing our tracker.
Is there another sling? There's another bomb bag. There's another bow. So there's still some bait out there in terms of like extra ammo items. But yeah, in terms
For
of
sure, but I
items, that's it.
believe as far as items that unlock further checks, we're pretty much out. So at this point, it's
Yeah.
just where do you think the Dinza is, and or what's your most check dense location to try to find it. And yes, as noted by chat, we have not currently seen Deeper Shadow. That is something Oak could be doing, but you had to become a child to open up Water Temple while you're there. It's just efficient to get bottom of the well, and it's so many checks. Can't blame them for it, but yes.
I wanted to comment. I think the best time for Oak to go like continue in Shadow was when he was last adult, anyways, because it is something you have to do regardless, and so that would avoid things, right? Like that would set you up to avoid things.
Agreed.
But because he decided to age change first, you know, now you've committed to child. It's not that easy to age change back, so yeah, it does make sense to do well now, but best time to do Shadow or continue in Shadow would have been earlier.
Indeed. Mr. Mario completing Dodongos and no surprise looking to reverse and get to the Shadow Temple entrance. They do have fire arrows, which would give us logical access to Haunted Wasteland check behind our other fire source. If it's there, that would be very unfortunate for Oak, as when they reversed, they did not have fire arrows. But indeed, kind of holding our breath about this Haunted Wasteland check probably is nothing, but our fire arrows were not fire source locked, so definitely could be our dins. Meanwhile, Oak continuing in bottom of the well. Alas, still only going to find that wallet, but fortunately we'll have most, if not all, of child cleanup complete at that point, at least outside of the items that they have chosen to skip and so far have been rewarded for. And just a small... Sorry, go ahead.
Mario up to 14 skulls is the other thing I wanted to mention. Still quite a bit away from 20, so probably won't see it turned in until at least 2 hours.
But Mr. Mario probably will be showing us Deeper Shadow, since they're going there and have the hover boots. And it looks like Oak is going adult. It's just needed to get out of a dungeon first. The child spawn in Lon Lon is useful, especially on Talon's side. It's not quite as good as Serenade or Prelude, but honestly, it's probably pretty even compared to Serenade, just not as good as Prelude for age changing. And I could be wrong, but Deep Water, if you're reading it correctly, shouldn't have Dins. But otherwise agree.
My bad, yeah.
But very easy to, in the heat of the moment, not see that, and Water being progression, I would not blame them for going there. It's just hopefully they realize it and quote-unquote go mode it.
Yeah, so, you know, Chad is talking about sort of the possibilities for Dins and how Oak can maybe take a lead over Mario in some way here.
Well, and honestly, outside of Dins being specifically on 20 skulls, I would argue that Oak is in the lead. It's not a big lead.
Yes,
But if you just assume...
It's a lead that can be lost through means of execution. So right now, I think if Oak goes straight to Shadow, and goes straight there, maybe gets Dins, he will be in the lead still, because Mario's doing HBA now, and Mario still has to do the first 2 checks in Shadow. But it's not a very big lead, so it is a bit of a scary position. Although, where's Oak going with this? He used Bolero.
Indeed. Honestly, I'm not too sure. Believe we saw everything in Goron City.
Oh, Oak is doing, wait. Oak is doing Water Temple? I guess?
Okay, that does make good sense. It's progression, you need to do it. It gives you Serenade if you want to get over to those checks faster. Plus, by completing Water Temple, you can, even without having Scarecrow Song or Plant Bean, have access to Adult Fishing and Shoot the Sun.
It seems like choosing to do this in this order is potentially Oak deciding, I want Dins to be in fire. I think that's.
I wouldn't even say necessarily in fire, but yes, you are definitely committing to it's not on the way in Shadow.
Yeah. Something to note, like, he didn't set up Scarecrow, or, well, I guess he hasn't set up Scarecrow yet, so it is a big time commitment to go back for it as Kid, you know, even with getting Serenade, like, it's a double age change. This is sort of ambitious, because if Dins is in Shadow, then he's in deep trouble, that's for sure.
Indeed. He might just think that he's behind, though, and therefore, if you can go mode Shadow and gain a bit of time that way, this could pay out. I do agree, though. It feels I feel like I'm behind play.
Probably Oak started to feel behind after Bomb a while, not having anything, and that being a giant waste of time. And that combined with him being, you know, the 31 seed playing the 2 seed, right? So.
Indeed. And I can't blame him. I mean, Mr. Mario, scary opponent in any circumstance. But we will be holding our breath here in Water Temple. I believe it was mentioned in chat that if Iron Boots are hard required for the boss key here, it does hurt quite a bit. It's not likely, but it is a thing. And indeed, no pun intended, but it does work rather well, Spec.
Disclaimer, what my co-commentator meant was scary in terms of a matchup. Don't worry, Mario's not that scary in person. I happen to meet the guy, he's a very nice guy.
Speed. Thank you. And with the new tricks and logic, but already having long shot, we won't be seeing water hop today. Has been making quite the impact on Season 9 overall.
Yeah, it seems like that's a trick that comes up in the majority of seeds. I don't have the stats for it, but it's come up a lot. I can attest to that. Today it won't come up though because both players have long shot. So
indeed, and there still most likely is a major item here in water, but it shouldn't be Dins or lead to Dins. But curious what it is. I wonder if you can glean any information. Say if you find a third strength in here.
speaking of which, oh, lens.
Well, even if we didn't have the market foolish, would be able to discount that one, but good to know where it is.
Mario getting the hinted boss key in shadow.
And just minor time save of being able to skip the chest next to it, something I know I'm not the best at, making sure that all of my sometimes in dual hints are things I keep in mind, even going through dungeons.
Not boss key there. So looking at Dark Link Loop next from Oak's point of view.
Indeed, we have what, 4 more checks here in Water Temple?
Yeah, the 3 checks. Well, if you want to count, I normally count Dragon Chest as part of the Dark Link Loop, but
agreed.
Yeah, so if we're counting it that way, then the 3 checks on Dark Link Loop and Central Pillar, which Oak cannot do because the order he chose to do the same. As we see a couple more keys on Mario's side, so we're only 1 more key away from being able, well, if you had Dins, then being able to skip the rest of Shadow, but we don't have Dins, so Mario's gonna still continue to do checks in here looking for the Dins.
Indeed, but that is good to know, because if there is no Dins in Shadow Temple, and we find it over on Oak's side before going into Shadow, that is an area where they can save a bit of time relative to Mario. We are starting to get low on our quote-unquote good checks that could have Dins, though. Trying to think of terrible locations, and honestly, most of them are centering to me around Lake, and of course, the 20 Skulls.
Yeah, Lake, 20 Skulls. I believe we haven't seen Sunsong Grave, actually.
This is true.
I believe Mario never did it because Suns was on Requiem, so you have to go back to Graveyard after you get the Requiem, so it's a little bit out of the way, right? So we haven't seen that one. That one is a pretty ugly one. But yeah, other than that, there's, you know, Fire, Stone Fire.
And I believe we do have Boss Key past Dark Link in the River chest, so that's good news for Oak.
Yeah, he won't get punished by this lack of irons.
And they are fully aware that Dins should not be in here, not even peeking the dragon chest, unless they've already seen 4 items in there that were not keys.
Meanwhile, Mario's end, we're running out of checks where Dins can be.
Indeed. Ordinarily, I would be terrified that it's on the manager at the very end of Shadow, but with Furore's and being able to set it in the back, that isn't too terrible of a check.
Oh, big chest in Shadow. Hold, everyone. It's the Dins, and Mario is in go mode.
Indeed. So big question here as Oak finishes off Morpha. Do they immediately use Ferraris and go back to Shadow? If so, it's straight up race. Although at this point, honestly, with the differences, I'm not sure who's ahead.
Yeah, hard to say. We don't know. We don't know. You know what Oak's gonna do. It looks like he might gamble on fire here with his plan. The thing is, you know, a big what if is, what if he did go back into Shadow after he got hovers? This would be a very different race we would be seeing.
For sure. Going Child, it looks like now? Oh, grabbing Serenade. Yep.
Where's Oak going now?
The only thing I can think of this direction is really big. Well, no, Big Pose is foolish. Hyrule Field is foolish.
Sunsgrave?
Could be.
Oh, he has
no
to get Burning
Nocturne.
Cack. He has to get Burning Cack. He has to get Burning Cack. So he equipped fire arrows to do fire arrow entry. Yeah. Even though it's a bit redundant because you needed Dins anyways.
Interesting. I'm not 100% certain on those fire arrows, and maybe the shield flicks are I didn't need fire arrows. The only check... Have we seen the Composer Grave check out of him? I know that Mr. Mario did it as a child.
Oak has not done Composer Grave torches, no. And he has not done Sun's Grave either, so maybe he's going for that as like a niche case. And then we'll see what he does. After all, Graveyard is path. Even though it's fulfilled. It's always nice to full clear paths, right? So... Also gets him an extra hint since he doesn't have the Valley to Bongo path, right?
Indeed. And with that in mind, are you just still searching for hints here?
Oh man, that's a tough call. I don't know, you don't have that many areas open, really. Like you said earlier, even when Mario was in Shadow, we were kind of running out of places where our Dins could be, like, good places.
Indeed, and with the hint being, at best, a 50-50 to point you to the right item. Unfortunately, we know that, for the moment, until they go back to Shadow, they're just bleeding time and working on their progression.
Oh, Oak equipped Auroras.
That's good news, an immediate minuet, so he is going to Shadow, so this is now a race. The Water Boss key is in a terrible location in Water Temple.
Yeah, Mario does have to do essentially a full clear of water, right? And pick up the Burning Cack song by hiking there. So it's still quite a bit of time, very difficult to tell who's ahead.
Indeed. Mr. Mario, having access to the Ferraris as, I believe, a VC player is going to be very happy. I have heard many VC runners not thrilled with long water temples because of all of the save quits.
Right. The other thing to note, you know... Well, actually, never mind. Sorry. I had like a thought, I lost it. But yeah, Mario does have a whole water to do, so... With VC, you know, it is going to lose him a little bit of time on the save quits, but like you said, Furrow is when you're going to mitigate some of that.
For sure. I'm wondering, iron boots don't make you change your route too much in Water Temple.
No,
You could
you'll
do the
same
compass
exact
chest
route.
first.
Maybe Mario will do Central Pillar, which Oak
True.
skipped, because... but it is just peeking it. It's like, what, 30 seconds with the peak, so not that bad.
Agreed. The one awkward part is when you get to that peak, you kind of are forced into a reset. There's no way to do Ferori's Wind underwater.
Right. Alright, Mario going to enter water now. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, unfortunately, with the location of Din's Fire, all you get to go mode on Oak's side in Shadow is the same that Mr. Mario was able to avoid, which is the manager at the very end. The rest of Shadow you have to quote-unquote full clear.
I mean, do you want to count not having to pick up the irons as relevant?
Yeah.
That's like a few seconds. I mean, I guess it could make a difference. This is pretty close, seemingly so far. So it would be funny if that ends up being the difference.
Honestly, I'd be thrilled with it. Any restream race, any race in general that gets that close, that's something to be hyped about.
For sure.
But okay, let us see. Probably both of our runners, once they have Nocturne and Spirit is their only dungeon left, you go moding Spirit as much as you can, but you still need to find the light arrows somewhere in there. So probably going initially as an adult and praying you never need to go there as a child?
I think Oak will definitely do that. Actually, really both runners will do it. What am I saying? Because you don't have Prelude. Age changing is slow, so you want to avoid the age change if you can. So yeah, you go adult and pray here.
Indeed. You also have both fire arrows and Din, so it's not like beyond the 2 single checks required to be a child, being adult really is holding you back whatsoever.
Yeah.
But it is going to be close. Fortunately, as soon as Oak finishes Shadow, you would imagine that you quite literally just play Nocturne and start on Spirit. On Mr. Mario's side, as Ink mentioned, we still need to grab that Nocturne, so a little bit added on to it. I feel like Oak might have a tiny advantage then, based on where the runners currently are, but honestly, I'm not too familiar with dungeon timings.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Especially because I have some estimation on Shadow, but that estimation is thrown off because of the first 2 checks and the order Oak did them in. Of course, Oak did 2 checks earlier, so yeah.
And agreed that Shadow is longer, but when you add the trek to get Nocturne onto that, and I'm not sure that they started these dungeons quote-unquote at the same time.
It was close. I believe Mario was on Bongo when Oak started.
Makes sense.
Or like when Oak rather, not started, but went back to Shadow.
Not so sure Oak turned around for this initial fan room. Maybe I'm wrong. Clearly I'm wrong.
Wait, did Oak skip Shadow Fox?
No, he went in there, he peeked it as it exploded, and then used FW to go back.
Oh no, Oak.
So it might have been a mispeek of that.
Oh, that's gonna be tragic potentially.
Yes.
But okay, well, hang on. the one piece of good news is that he's locked out here, right? He's not gonna
Yep.
take the boat and get there and be like, oh, oops. So, at least he's not gonna lose all the time taking the boat. He'll just throw his win, run back, most likely. But it is a pretty significant time loss. And it's one that he frankly can't afford.
Yes, at least he'll get the good news from his point of view that Dins is in here. At least I hope he considers it good news, and has Furore's 2 set in here. In the meanwhile, Mr. Mario is checking that Central Pillar. Makes good sense, you have Iron Boots, it's on the way, it's good efficient routing, but something that Oak didn't have to do.
Yeah. And now Mario's gonna have to reset and do Dark Link Loop. Oh no, is Oak gonna have to... Oh no!
Yes.
Oak doesn't know what check he missed!
You probably can get back through the fan room. We'll see in a moment what he checks and doesn't check.
You can get back through the fan room, like, from... Like you can. And
Okay.
he knows this. But I think he just doesn't know which one he skipped.
It
Maybe
should
he skipped
be...
one on the falling ceiling room, because he's not going back for the other two. So... And the spinning blade room was hinted, so... Oh, maybe he thinks he read the spinning blade room wrong. That might
It
be-
makes sense.
Mario, in the meantime, checking water boss key chests now, as he did keep the keys in a weird order. And... I don't remember what order he did them, actually, specifically. But Oak did boss key chest one of the first ones, if I remember correctly, so...
Agreed. I think Oak took the quote-unquote, what I would call traditional route of, if you get enough keys from the right-hand side, setting the water level low, you just do the boss key chest immediately after that, whereas Mr. Mario did Central Pillar and the 2 center chests first. If the boss key is in one of those center chests, certainly faster. And yes, as more time goes on, it's becoming Mario's race to lose, but we will see. Not seeing anything in the Crusher Room for Oak should send them straight to the Skull Pod again.
Yeah, and like I said, it's a time loss he really did not want to have. I mean, probably considering, you know, where Mario is, I would say before the key incident, Oak definitely had a lead. Just because he had Nocturne. But
For
now,
sure.
now it's definitely not so clear. Especially how long Shadow Boat takes.
Indeed, if it were Fast Shadow Boat, granted Mr. Mario would then have also saved some time, but at least Oak now has their key, can Furore's back, and get on that Shadow Boat. But it is putting these two fairly close. We will know as they enter Spirit the exact time difference between the two of them.
Yeah. So here's our 66-second Shadow Boat. Coming for Oak. As Mario will pick up the River Chest boss key.
Indeed. Gets the quote-unquote good news that they get to skip one check in Water Temple. A bit unfortunate. Curious on the Fire Arrow equip. Not that I am one to talk. I know that my menuing is far from optimal. FAE for the fans? It could be. Okay, so Shadow Boat being completed by Oak as the water completion cutscene ends for Mr. Mario. Mr. Mario now making their way to Kakariko.
Seems like Mario's going to prefer to hike here. Big difference being that Oak actually save quit and walk there. Mostly a pickup Serenade, but since Mario's here, he decides to instead walk through Trail.
And alas, Mr. Mario putting away those fire arrows. We won't be seeing fire arrow entry for the fans.
Oak's not getting irons, he's getting the last key, which was also hinted there.
So it's looking like we're going to see most of a bongo fight as far as the difference in time.
Yeah, that sounds about accurate.
And I don't believe
Oak
either
never
of our
got
runners.
Pierre. Neither runner got Pierre, yeah.
Indeed, we can see precisely how far ahead shortly Mr. Mario is, so we are entering Spirit Temple here at 2:09:53. Meanwhile, Oak completing Bongo and will be on their way shortly. Honestly, wonderful seeing this matchup, not only because our runners are so fantastic, but being second seed versus 31st seed in the main tournament, and it literally could come down to how you peaked a single check in the game, as far as the difference of who wins and who loses, shows just how tight-knit or close competition all of top 32 is.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, okay, we are not key locked as adult, so we can keep going in Spirit Temple without age changing.
Indeed, good news for both runners, and 2:09:53 to enter Spirit Temple versus 2:11:15. So if my math is right, add 7 seconds, that's a minute 22 seconds?
Don't ask me. I don't know how to do math, man. I'm a zoomer.
Okay, my mistake. I'm going to run with a minute 22 seconds. So it's a lot as far as execution, but maybe Oak has played feeling... It has felt like Oak has said, okay, if I do the exact same things as Mr. Mario, he will have an advantage on me because his execution will save him time. Maybe there's some routing here in Spirit Temple that he'll choose to do that could pay off to shorten that gap.
There's the boss key on the main room chest, so we still need a couple keys, and we need our light arrows that are hinted in here.
And honestly, very good point, VG fan. Twin Rova RNG certainly will make an impact. A minute 22 is a lot for that impact to be, but it could certainly affect a portion of it. So we have 1 key in the boss key. We need 2 more small keys in the light arrows. Don't believe any of our path hints really point to where the light arrows could be, although this big chest is certainly a good indicator.
Is this our light arrows? It is! Okay, so we do not need the age change for light arrows. And that means Child Spirit is null and void because there's another key to keep us going.
Indeed. And 1 more key left. As soon as we find that, we can go mode the rest of Spirit. Mr. Mario did do the child side climb checks in Spirit Temple, and depending on Oak's routing, they might be able to avoid that, so we'll be watching. Oh, and unfortunate for Mr. Mario, just barely missing 1 of the enemies with a Din's usage. Minor shield flick, just expressing oof.
Gonna give Oak a little bit of time to catch up now, but
Indeed. Oh,
not enough to change any leads.
Oak will be going to the child climb, which makes good sense. It's check dense, you need the major item and keys, but unfortunately we know that he could have saved a tiny bit of time by not doing so. Another big chest. That is something I don't expect us to see open whatsoever, and Mr. Mario agrees.
Yep, we are only concerned with finding 1 key and 1 key only.
Strength 3 is a good guess, considering we still have that potential path strength out of Deku Tree. And
No
fortunately,
keys.
both of our runners have long shots, so odds are our search for the last key will end here one way or another. It's just a question of which hand has a small key.
Right. And it's that hand. The left hand.
Okay, so picking up their last small key at about 2:15:09, we'll see how the numbers have changed for Oak relative to when Mr. Mario was a minute 22 ahead.
Oak gonna choose to skip the mirror lock check, so that's also gonna save him a little bit more time again.
And no surprise on Mr. Mario's side. They have all their keys, they have the light arrows. We're not looking at any more chests in this dungeon.
Oh,
Oh.
going back.
It makes sense,
Yeah.
but unfortunate with the knowledge we have.
Yeah. Probably not going to make it. I mean, it's unlikely it'll make a difference in the grand scheme of things. We'll see. Playing Rovar RNG can maybe be a bit interesting, but I don't know if it'll be enough to make that much of a difference.
Agreed. It is Mr. Mario's race to lose at this point.
Okay, Mario entered Naburu at 2:16:41.
And 2:16:46 versus 2:15:09 for collecting the last small key. So actually, Mr. Mario has widened the gap so far here in Spirit.
Alright, here comes the Robo fight. Will we get Troll Robo today? Well, first pillar, first, I don't know, attack. Not that bad. Position was good for Mario's side.
Indeed, and I believe also our second witch indeed will fire immediately, so knock on wood so far, quite literally best RNG possible. You have, I believe, Fire Witch has a flame stored. I apologize, I don't know which one is Kotek and which one is Koon. So the question is, when will we get this fourth one? And Fire might have already gone to a pillar for it. And yes, that is practically perfect RNG on Mr. Mario's side.
Yes, that's as nice RNG as you can get. Alright, that is Randomizer officially down for Mario, and all 6 medallions collected.
Indeed. Off on their way to Ganon's right now.
Oak
Go
about
ahead.
a twin robo fight behind. Essentially. I guess
Making
we'll
up
see what
that
Oak's
difference. We have enough health that I don't believe, and generally with these runners of this caliber and having Big Goron Sword, that Salt and Pepper would make a big difference. So we're looking at, are there any shenanigans Ganon can do, particularly Ganondorf? I'm definitely stretching and definitely not wishing any bad luck for Mr. Mario, but if there's an out for Oak, that seems to be the place to look for it.
Yeah, it I don't know, maybe if Dorf like does like a weird 1 in a million fire the bolt at your head and you can't bottle in time scenario. There's one in particular, one like type in particular. Some people will know what I'm talking about, but that's all I could maybe think of.
But agreed also with Chad. At least we are seeing good RNG on both sides. Would have been
Yeah, so at least it's
unfortunate
not-
for either runner.
Yeah, at least it's
Go
not
ahead.
Twin Rove RNG deciding the race.
Yes.
That's never it's never a nice sight to see. But yeah, now Twin Robo down for Oak. Mario entering IGC, and now gonna start on the tower climb.
With Big Goron Sword certainly should be speedy, not only because Mr. Mario is speedy, but just you have all of the tools at your disposal to make it as fast as possible.
Right. Ganon fight included, as we got the hammer on HBA, even though fire
Indeed.
wasn't required. So all the quality of life for this segment of the game.
Oak will get a little bit of a time save just from being on emulator and a faster save quit, going back to Temple of Time. It's something.
Mario making quick work of Salt and Pepper.
And with our tournament format, fortunately, neither of our runners are out of the tournament, regardless win or lose here. You need
No,
2
they are.
wins to
Oh, go ahead.
Indeed. I was just going to say you need 2 wins to guarantee your spot in the bracket phase and 2 losses to be eliminated before that point. So regardless of win or lose, they still will continue fighting in top 32.
Yeah, as this is the first game of all of Season 9 main tournament, the loser will stay on, so not too big of a concern. Well, still not ideal, you know, you don't want to start with a loss, but yeah, it's not gonna be over for anybody. Right? Imagine this is going to be a quick Dwarf 1 cycle from Mario and restore the BGS damage. And there it is.
Meanwhile, Oak in the Stalfos room, following behind, and it will be close. Honestly, if you're sitting in the race yourself at this point, you're in the middle of Ganon's tower, nobody's finished, you're just praying, potentially watching. I don't know Oak's preference of watching the race room or not. With Dread, will there be a finish, or are you the one in the lead? And yes, I did a quick peek at the VOD to see how much time going back in Shadow cost Oak. And best guess, you're looking at 3 minutes, 15 seconds, because they also had to grab the key the first go round, so that would have added a little bit more time going through the first time. But Oak would love those 3 minutes back here.
Oh wow. Yeah, maybe it would have kept Oak ahead. It's very close. It's very close. But now Mario on Ganon base 2 Oak can start door. And this is going to be base 2 down for Mario. Get your GGs in chat out for Mr. Mario, as he will be advancing to round 2 of the group stage. And there it is! Mario finishing off Ganon and winning the race with a time of 2 hours, 25 minutes, and 17 seconds.
GG's to Mr. Mario. That, I mean, as always, anytime I see him, absolutely amazing. And welcome in.
Yes, welcome into both runners, Mario, Oak. GG's to both of you.
GG's Oak.
GG.
For anyone
Mr.
who's curious. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I'll let you go ahead with that thought, but I think you might want to tell the runners the thing that they probably want to know the most of your calculation.
Well, I was just going to say that because we are still seeing Oak racing here on Restream, and he's also here in chat, there is a 20-minute delay for anyone who is unaware, and just as a gentle reminder, and hence that's why we are able to see Oak finish while also having him in VC with us.
Yes, for sure. So that disclaimer, do you want to share with the runners your calculation? As I'm sure they're dying to know this.
Yes, that I know Oak. Right at the end, we think you were ahead until Shadow Temple and that unfortunate Shadow Pop peak.
Yeah.
My best guess, looking at the VODs, is you lost about 3 minutes 15 seconds from that.
Wow.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
So what happened was I got ganged up by both of the keys as I was peeking the item as it was coming out of the pot. I killed both of the keys, but when I don't know. It's like when I was looking at the item coming out of the pot, it looked red, and I was like, oh, I don't need that. So I warped out and
Ah,
just kept on going. I thought it was a red rupee, but maybe it was just the subtle flame left from the keys that I saw. So I don't know. It
it happens
happens.
to the best of us. I mean, I lost a race in RSL because I thought a mirror shield. I thought a mirror shield was a red rupee. So
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not too upset over it. It happens. I mean, to be fair, like it's to the point where I went back through Shadow, like, okay, did I actually like mispeak something? Maybe I misread the hint in the invisible chest in the invisible blade room was the key. So I went
Mm.
back there first, and yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, the seed, it didn't feel great for me, but it also wasn't terrible. I mean, I kind of did everything when I didn't need to do everything. I did Child Lake, I did Bottom of the Well, I did GTG, both of which are not required. Those are the real big contributors to my time loss, I think. And then in the beginning, like not going straight to CAC and instead going to market, then getting the Deku hint, and then I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to Deku before adult. Kind of double back on my steps there. But I think it
Yeah, I
was the right
played.
play to go back to Deku.
Yeah, yeah, especially with the little setup it gives you. I played pretty aggressive. I just saw that Deku was available, so I went from Lon to Deku, and
Yeah.
I mean, right after doing the Mido stuff and Mido's house and stuff. So I played that pretty aggressively and I felt like I got paid out, and then you get both of the hints. So
Yeah.
whatever.
That and the Valley Path to Bongo hint was huge for me in the Boulder Destiny Grotto. Because if I didn't get that hint, I was not doing Valley until after DC and reversing. Which honestly would have been fine because we got Longstar from DC, but I didn't know that, so.
Yeah, speaking of that,
Go ahead, Ink.
speaking of that, that is actually something that Oak did. So instead of going back child after GTG, we were both in GTG about the same time. After that, he actually instead rushed adult to go to the Requiem, get the Requiem song off of Graveyard. Did DC, did that, and when we got the hovers, we thought, wow, that's a pretty big pull. But then again, you had the letter, and Oak had still skipped Woods.
Oh.
So
okay. Yeah.
So yeah, it was interesting. Oak, I guess I gotta ask one thing. So you had a very interesting decision to make pretty much after you got the hovers. And that decision was, do you go back to Shadow with the first win and do Shadow then? Or do you go Child and clean up? And you chose Child clean up. What was the thought process behind weighing those two decisions?
There were no thoughts behind my head. Like, genuinely, I made the wrong choice, and I should have gone Shadow. You're not losing any time, especially if FW. So going back through Shadow and then leaving FW, even at the very end in the maze, yeah, that's the right call. That's what you should do. And I didn't. So I can't really, like, say, like, hindsight, but I was like, in my head at that time, I was like, well, I still need Rudos, I still need Dins, so I just felt like I should take that potential Sarias, because, like, yeah, there's Hookshot, but, like, maybe it's Sarias for, like, Skull Kid, so take the full kit that you get and go through Lost Woods, open up Water Temple for Adult, and just kind of roll through there.
And
Gotcha.
thank
Go
you
ahead,
for
Mr.
keeping the race so close for us, because we saw Mr. Mario going through Water Temple as Oak. You went back to Shadow, not knowing that you were going to find Dins necessarily in there. And on Restream, we're not 100% sure which one of you were ahead, to be honest.
Yeah, it was very tight. Mario, I guess I have a question for you. You said, you kind of insinuated you had some regrets, like you did a lot of the seeds that you felt you didn't need to do. What is there anything specific you'd like maybe change out of your route? That seed?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like going straight adult after getting the 2 songs in Child was really aggressive because you have the access to Deku Tree so early, and it's Deku Tree of all things. Like, that bomb bag could so easily just be in there, and then your adult is just way better. Thankfully, the hint rerouted me. But yeah, that was kind of interesting. What else? I mean, GTG I think was a fine play. We were still missing a lot of stuff like Dins, hovers. What else? Long shot. We know where Iron's boots were, so.
And you still got good items out of GTG. I believe it was a bomb bag
Bomb
and your
bag.
20 pack of chews.
Yeah, the bomb bag was a big thing. The other one was what? Diving spot in Child Lake.
Indeed.
So that's a kind of awkward spot to get to as well. I don't think I should have gone out and done Child Lake at all. It was just a big waste of time when I had the entirety of DC, and I mean, I guess my reasoning for this is at that point I didn't have the hint that Valley was past the bongo, so I didn't know that I would be getting the hover boots. So my worldview was a lot smaller because I just didn't have Shadow. I didn't have Hammer for Fire. I didn't have much at all left in my seed besides DC. And even though DC is a check dense location, I mean, it's good to go Child Lake, so you can at least set up Scarecrow. Adult Lake is pretty fast if you have a reason to be there. So, and you can loop it in with South Field, which I never got a chance to do, but it would have been pretty good.
Oh, speaking of field, another thing that is actually kind of funny that you might like to know is Oak got the other IC hint, the important town hint, and it was Field 1, which means that the only item in the field was the Ocarina of Time song. So, yeah.
I was torn even going out of the way to get that hint. It was the bombable.
When I got that, I only had choose, so I wasn't gonna waste my choose to get that hint.
That's totally fair.
Yeah, I mean, I think from that, doing that hint is reasonable, Oak, as you know, it could have been your last path, and it could have just been the Dins in your, like, you know, just let her from go at that point, right? So, you know, we were even thinking, geez, does Oak just like go straight for hints and that's it here, right?
I was thinking about it. I was like, the last one has to be a bongo hint. So
yeah, 1 and 3,
yeah,
right?
you don't
Maybe
have a
even 1 and
bongo
2.
hint. Yeah, but like everything was either bongo, rover, or path to Evil's Bane because you needed Nocturne for Spirit. So
yeah, that was funny. I thought I misread the trail to Evil's Bane, because then I got the
there's a
Evil's
trail
Bane.
path.
Yeah. And I was like, wait, did I mess that up? And then I see another crater, and then I find the other trail, and I was like, no, I'm not, like, I deleted it from my tracker and then put it back on the tracker. I was like, I don't even know anymore. But it all made sense. You know, you get the rang and then the hook shot.
Yeah.
So
I think all the quote-unquote major items that could have affected the last path that we didn't see on stream, or the only one, was second magic, and therefore could Kakariko have been path for the magic? And I don't know. Both of you saw the big chest in Spirit Temple behind the mirror shield. That could be strength 3 was the one theory in chat, but we'll never know.
Yeah.
yeah, frick that chest. No, thank you. I just didn't want to happen what happened the last time. There was a qualifier where lights were in Spirit, and Spirit's your last dungeon. And I just go-moded Spirit, past all the big chests, completely forgot I needed lights, got all the way to Ganon's castle, and I was like, why is the bridge not spawning? And yeah, you gotta go grab lights. So I'm just glad that lights were early in Spirit.
Yeah.
I'm sure both of you were, as Child Trek would have been a bit tiresome, at least.
So trash.
It would have been
Just like that
inconvenient.
girl.
With no prelude, no serenade. I mean, you probably
You can
would
grab
get
serenade, yeah.
on
Yeah. Well, Nastro, do you have any questions? Or runners, do you have any questions for us?
I don't think
Nothing
so.
on my
I'm
end.
glad it was a pretty close race, all things considered.
Yeah.
Agreed, and thank you so much for both letting us restream you. It's always a pleasure watching, learning, everything. And first match in top 32, very hype, at least for me, and I'm sure for many others.
Yeah, thank you guys for commentating and restreaming it.
Yeah, I did not expect this so early. So I mean, day one, pretty much.
Literally.
Yeah, well, thank you, both of you, for putting on such a great show. I suppose... I don't know, since we don't have any more questions, Tom, do you want to take us away?
Plan. Hi everyone. That was a great race, guys. Thank you very much for letting us put you on and for having a great race. I mean, the close ones are always the best, in my opinion. So, thank you both. Coms, thank you for coming. Carolina, thank you for helping me track. Chad, thanks for coming out to watch. I'm gonna send this over the others and get us out of here. Have a good rest of your day, everyone.